This is a Hot Stirrer Podcast YouTube exclusive. I am your host, Jay Poole. Philando Castile was a 32-year-old man from St. Paul, Minnesota. He was a nutrition services supervisor for the St. Paul Public School District, where he had worked for 14 years. Reportedly, Philando, or Mr. Phil, was beloved by the kids he interacted with daily. Philando had a fiancée and a 4-year-old soon-to-be stepdaughter. He was also a registered gun owner. On July 6, 2016, he was driving with his fiancée and her daughter when they were pulled over in the St. Paul suburb of St. Anthony. Philando was asked for his license and registration. He advised the officer that he had a gun, as he was obtaining what the officer requested. The officer, Geronimo Yanez, then shot Philando 5 times in front of his fiancée and 4-year-old stepdaughter, with 2 of the bullets piercing his heart. His fiancée, Diamond Reynolds, live-streamed the immediate aftermath of the shooting on Facebook, which made the event a national story. Philando died from his injuries. Because Philando Castile was a law-abiding registered gun owner, many people called on the National Rifle Association, the largest and most prominent Second Amendment advocacy group in the country, to speak out on behalf of a man who died because of a gun he was carrying legally and was not using against the police. The NRA only said the following: "The reports from Minnesota are troubling and must be thoroughly investigated. In the meantime, it is important for the NRA not to comment while the investigation is ongoing. Rest assured, the NRA will have more to say once all the facts are known." Many Americans, including some NRA members, criticized the group for their tepid response to the shooting. The NRA never officially made any additional statements on Philando Castile. Yanez went on trial for the shooting earlier this year. He made claims that were refuted by forensic evidence, such as that Castile was pulling out his gun instead of the information he previously asked for. He also claimed, like many police officers who have shot and killed African American citizens recently, that he was in fear for his life. And like many police officers who have shot and killed African American citizens recently, claiming to be in fear for his life was all it took for a jury to move to acquit him June 16th of this year. Here's the statement after the verdict from Philando's mother, Valerie Castile.
"My son loved this city, and this city killed my son, and the murderer gets away. Are you kidding me right now? We're not evolving as a civilization. We're devolving. We have taken steps forward. People have died for us to have these rights, and now we're devolving. We're going back down to 1969. Damn! What is it gonna take? I'm mad as hell right now. Yes, I am. My firstborn one son died here in Minnesota. Under the circumstances, just because he was a police officer, that makes it okay. Oh, now they got free reign."
Again, many people called for the NRA to speak out on behalf of a legal gun owner whose killer escaped justice. And many people, including some NRA members, criticized the NRA for failing to speak up for someone who should be the poster child for why Second Amendment advocacy is necessary. They were silent. And then, an ad the group promoted this week gave us our answer.
They use their media to assassinate real news. They use their schools to teach children that their president is another Hitler. They use their movie stars and singers and comedy shows and award shows to repeat their narrative over and over again. And then they use their ex-president to endorse the resistance, all to make them march, make them protest, make them scream racism and sexism and xenophobia and homophobia, to smash windows, burn cars, shut down interstates and airports, bully and terrorize the law-abiding, until the only option left is for the police to do their jobs and stop the madness. And when that happens, they'll use it as an excuse for their outrage. The only way we stop this, the only way we save our country and our freedom, is to fight this violence of lies with the clenched fist of truth. I'm the National Rifle Association of America, and I'm freedom's safest place.
The NRA is not about Second Amendment rights. They are carrying the water of the Trump regime. They are against the right to protest. They are against dissent. They are against the First Amendment. They are against anything that would oppose a right-wing authoritarian narrative. They consider anything working against this agenda violence that needs to be countered by a fist of truth. It is very clear from their descriptions that they call out the protests by Black Lives Matter and others denouncing the killings of Black Americans by police, and are claiming these warrant a violent reaction by the police, who are doing their jobs. Yes, this is a call to right-wing violence against the left. Yes, this is calling for civil war without saying those words. But this is also the answer to the question, why won't the NRA speak out about the violation of Philando Castile's Second Amendment rights? According to the NRA, Philando Castile has no Second Amendment rights. As in the words of Supreme Court Justice Roger Taney in 1857, he had no rights which a white man was bound to respect. Philando, his family, his friends, people who support justice and are protesting the increasing police state in America are the enemy, and they must be stopped by any means necessary. Let's get something straight here. The NRA is not a Second Amendment advocacy group. They have not been for a long time. When NRA spokesperson Dana Loesch, the woman in the video, mentions racism, sexism, xenophobia, homophobia, as if these are terms that the left made up to make the right look bad, it's a case of short memories and selective amnesia. The NRA has, for decades, been a group that has supported gun manufacturers by stoking conservative white fears of the other to increase gun sales. Scary Black people, scary Latino people, scary Muslims, scary liberals. They will try to take away your guns, and they are coming for you and your family. They have pushed this agenda successfully since around the late 1960s. The fact is that you are more likely to be assaulted or killed by someone who looks like you and believes like you than the other. But that doesn't get people to the gun shops. When the Bill of Rights was first drafted in 1789, the United States was a brand new, fledgling country. The U.S. Constitution provided a framework for our governmental system, but did not have a clear list of rights and liberties the people had in relation to the government. Many founders, particularly the Anti-Federalists, those who opposed the U.S. Constitution, were adamant that a Bill of Rights was necessary to protect the people from government and to keep the presidency from becoming a monarchy. James Madison, a Federalist supporting the U.S. Constitution, penned the Bill of Rights in a move to garner support among anti-federalists for the Constitution. The Second Amendment, which provides the right to keep and bear arms, has a few purposes. It was expected, at a time before today's professional military, that the people could defend the country if needed. But it also served a couple of other purposes. Self-defense, since there was no police force at the time, and defense against government oppression. The founders knew that government corrupts, and An armed populace is a check against the government that steps over the line. So when we listen to the NRA video and the support of a police state, not police officers, the men and women who take seriously their charge to protect and serve and understand their responsibility to the communities in which they serve, despite the dangers they have signed up for, but a police state, a militarized entity with no accountability, with power but no responsibility, who can play the fear card and can get out of jail free. Police that are viewed as the arm of the current regime that is there to enforce the new order. Folks, we need to get over the idea that supporting police accountability or holding officers who can legally kill to a higher standard means being anti-cop. Every institution requires accountability in order to function properly, and that includes the police. Accountability needs to be pushed in our society, in law enforcement, and in the laws the courts enforce. Lack of accountability in any government institution leads to abuse of power. If we are silent because it's the people in our society seen as dangerous who are the victims, there will come a time eventually when you will be the victims, but your rights will be gone because it was okay to strip away those rights, since the state told you the dangerous others did not comply. When the NRA supports a police state in the aim of stomping out dissent, they have conveniently forgotten what the Second Amendment is about. The Second Amendment exists to protect the other amendments, not to strip Americans of them if we don't like what they have to say. Like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Regular episodes of Pot Stirrer Podcast are simulcast here and can be found on iTunes and Google Play. Leave a comment below or talk to us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Thank you for watching. Let's fight for America's future, because freedom is not free.